M exposes entire family to covet. Edit. I edited the story to show more context. I, minor, male, just want to start this by saying I love my mom, even when she's being entitled and kinda crazy. It's just the way she is and she refuses to change for others. Me and my dad have learned to accept it and change ourselves instead. However, one of the downsides of her entitlement is her controlling nature. She has to be the boss and what she says goes. A few weeks ago, my parents and I decided to visit my grandma and grandpa. My dad decided we should go so we could spend more time with his parents. My mom said she was feeling perfectly fine at the time. She got a positive COVID test a day after we got to my grandparents' house. Me and my dad couldn't out of the guest house because other family was staying in the only empty rooms in the main. This led to my mom having to quarantine. After a few hours she broke it and sat in the living room with me and my dad, not wearing a mask. We asked her to go back to the bedroom or wear a mask but she refused both. So my dad left and I put on a mask and continued what I was doing. She wasn't going to go by quarantine protocols, so we did. I am pretty sure my dad informed his parents, but I don't know for sure. A few days later my dad and I moved into the main house. My mom ended up getting lonely and decided to go to the main house, where my just out of surgery grandfather and immune-deficient grandmother were. Without wearing a mask, she sat inside with the both of them and chatted for hours. My dad and I never knew. My mom claims they were more than 6 feet away, but I don't believe her. Suddenly there were 3 more positive cases in our house. My dad, my grandma, and my grandfather. I was pissed. I ended up having to quarantine, while everyone else, besides my now very sick grandfather, ate together. The worst part? My mom kept coming into my quarantine space and coughing everywhere. It's a miracle I never ended up getting it. I'm calling her entitled in this situation because she never, not even once, considered the safety of my grandparents. My grandfather has been in and out of surgery and hospitals for over a year now and has basically no immunity. My grandmother is his main caregiver and could barely do anything. My dad had to take care of both of them while I was locked away in my room and my mom wasn't doing anything. I wished I could have done anything to help. Summary, my mom gave my family COVID and I'm pissed. Small update, just got a text from my grandma. She and my grandpa finally texted negative, but GPA is still feeling some symptoms. Entitled grandmother takes us out of her will for going on vacation. Background, my grandma was never a good mother to my mom. She has some sort of personality disorder and refuses to seek treatment to be a better person. She has always been mentally and emotionally abusive to my mother. She previously had breast cancer and was in remission until a few weeks ago. She wasn't worried about it but of course pulls the cancer card to manipulate us all the time. We, me, my mom, my dad, my brother, have never gone on vacation together, just the 4 of us. We wanted to do something special before I graduate, 2 years. The story, my mom was waiting to tell my GMA about our cruise because she knew she would react poorly and freak out. So my mom decided to tell her now. On a cruise and we were so inconsiderate for not taking her. We also apparently aren't allowed to have any of my dad's family in town ever, they were visiting for a few days. We got in a car accident a year and some months ago in their car and she's saying that we are taking a financial toll on her and all that jazz, which in fact made our insurance go up. My grandmother proceeded to say that she was taking us out of her will and we won't get anything when she dies. It was really hard on my mom and I, we are the emotional ones, to hear her say this. She has always made everything about her and expects an apology from my mom. Meanwhile, she has never apologized to any of us about anything she has done for us. Anyways, this was more of a vent post than anything, but yeah. Update, entitled grandmother takes us out of her will for going on vacation. So as many of you know, my grandmother, who I really don't consider my grandmother anymore at this point, is crazy. But alas, she's gotten even more demented. My dad gets a text about 3 to 4 days ago from her. She gives him this long, apparently disgusting, they wouldn't even let me read, long paragraph berating him. And then she takes it a step further. You would never treat your mother like this. My dad's mom is dead. We lived with my grandmother, e.g., when she died. For obvious reasons my dad went insane and said, "Keep my dead mother's name out of your effing mouth," and a plethora of other things. After this incident, I don't really think she can even be considered my grandmother. Bringing up someone we cried to you about when she died is just too far. So Vicky, F you to infinity. Entitled Kid obliterated a diecast collection. This happened when I was a kid and I remember it to this day. As a kid, and to this day I had a humongous diecast collection, which had two my favorite models. BMW M3 E92 Touring DTM, it had an aerodynamic spoiler, so that will be important later. Audi RS5 Touring DTM, which Oswell had an aerodynamic spoiler. I was hanging out with another friend. As usual, we made a diecast car meet in a room we usually hang out in. The BMW and Audi were on a small wooden ledge that was under a big window. We didn't use them as it didn't fit the size. There was a realistic DIY track Oswell, which we sometimes raced on. M, me. F, friend. EK, entitled kid. Okay, so we fully assembled our car meet and we were waiting for a new kid, which was my dad's friend's son. He arrived with a plastic bag and was acting as he was the owner of household. When he arrived in the room with diecast collection, he slammed a plastic bag on the floor. The plastic bag contained two plastic, yellow tractors. He took them out and kicked one of the tractors into the car meet place, obliterating two diecast models. Damages were windshield cracks and serious paint scratch. After that, he quickly ran over to another diecast model that was in the car meet and he slammed it with his feet, resulting in total collapse of this model. I tried to stop him and yet he could smash it. Next, he took his tractor, or excavator whatever that was, and came up to the BMW and Audi. I quickly standed behind them and my friend blocked the other side. He threw the tractor at my leg, but I slightly kicked it back and a big part that was chained to tractor, I don't know its name, fell off. He screamed like a crazy Wendigo and ran over to the bag, which I tried to take away but slipped on his tractor part. My friend ran to him as we built this track with DIY. We used cardboard and stuff to build it and he slams his bag with other tractor against the track, which obliterates. Hours of our work collapsed to a pity yellow tractor/excavator. This track was called the Estonia Speed Ring. Well, not so creative, but still, we yelled at him very much after that. M, kid, what the absolute hell are you doing? F, you ruined hours of our work with a single hand move. EK, I do whatever I want. I don't care about you. I am the king here. M, you are not even the owner of this house. EK, I will stay here. It's mine now. You are my slaves. He literally said this. F, the heck? Can you just relax and go play with your tractor? EK, yes, but I gotta do something. Entitled kid hooped his bag, which was in his arm the whole time, and it flung to the both BMWs and Audis. We yelled and ran there, because not only it was one of my favorite cars, my friend as well very much liked it. F, for God's sake stop. EK, I will do anything I want. I ran to him but it was too late. He threw both Audi and BMW at the floor so hard, they colapsed. The wings slowly flew away, wheels broke down and the plastic glasses popped out, roof going down, and it was just a horrendous show to see. EK, ha ha ha. Now go and fix my tractor. F, man, I'm tired of his actions, tell it to his parents. I will keep an eye. M, alrighty. I ran over down the stairs over to his mom and said that the kid completely wiped out the whole thing. The mom ran over and saw and started at this, then blatantly said, how about we get some ice cream? We said fine, and thought as long as he doesn't steps in the room we will be absolutely fine. He ate ice cream really disgustingly, the chewing sound was so awful. After that, me and my friend decided to ride a RC hoverboat on the lake. The house property was near a pretty small lake. We took it there and controlled it around, then took it back to house and threw it in bath for water to drain from it. Then, after we come back, surprisingly, entitled kid was stick to his parents. He took out the RC and controlled it around the house. It was fine, but he crashed a lot and the front hovercraft bumper came off. We yelled at him again and he started crying. But luckily, 30 minutes after that they drove back to their home. That was a quite short story. I hope you enjoyed.